Now, the next one is the question number 3. The salt sodium chloride can be prepared in the laboratory by the different methods. The first one method is the burning sodium metal is placed into a gas jar of chlorine gas. Solid sodium chloride is formed. The first method is this. Second method is the dilute hydrochloric acid. We have a dilute hydrochloric acid is added to known volume of aqueous sodium hydroxide in the presence of an indicator until the neutralization is done. This type of reaction, this one is known as what? Titration. Okay. Now, state the color of the flame of a sodium metal burns with before it is placed into the chlorine gas in method 1. So these flame colors you have to memorize for the paper 4 and the paper 2, and in paper 6 they you will provide it with the tables. Okay, so the color here is yellow color. The flame color for the sodium is yellow. Now the next one. State the color of the chlorine gas before the burning. Sodium metal is added to it in the method 1. So this the color is the pale green. Now color of the calculate the mass. We have to calculate what? We have to calculate the mass of a sodium chloride form when excess of a sodium metal, the sodium metal is in the excess form, placed into a 3960 centimeter cube of chlorine gas at the room temperature and pressure. Okay, the volume is given to you is what? For the chlorine, the chlorine gas volume is 960 centimeter cube. Volume is in the centimeter cube. It's up to you. You can convert the centimeter cube into a dm cube, and then you can solve the question. Okay, some of the formulas which you have to memorize. The one formula is n is equal to small m over mr. This formula is for the to calculate the moles. The second formula is for the volume of gas. V is equal to N multiplied by Mr. Mr is a molecular mass. Then the next formula is concentration is equal to moles divided by volume. So these three formulas you have to memorize. Now, so what we have to do? Simple. We have to convert the given volume into a moles first. The given volume of a gas will convert into a moles. Then you will apply the mole ratio by the help of an equation, and when the mole ratio is applied, you will find the moles of a product, and after that you will find the mass of a substance. So let's start. Step number 1. In the step number 1, the volume V the volume is converted into a moles, so the moles are equal to volume is 960 divided by 24,000. 960 divided by 24,000, answer is 0.04 mole. The equation is given above. Ratio is 2 is to 1, means the double of a chlorine. So these moles will multiply with the 2. The moles for the sodium will become 0.08 mole of sodium. Now we have to calculate the mass. Sorry. The one more thing, I have done a mistake here. They are asking for the sodium chloride, not for the sodium. So this ratio is the same here. Ratio is same. 1:2. So we have calculated the moles of a sodium chloride here. Now the MR for the sodium chloride. Sodium chloride MR is 58.5. So the mass of sodium chloride is 0.08 multiplied by 58.5. The answer you will get is 4.68. Is there any limitation of our digits? No. So we're going to write the complete answer, 4.68 grams. Write the ionic equation which represent the neutralization take place in the method 2. The method 2 is a titration method. Okay, and whenever the titration method is done for the acid base, so that type of reaction is a neutralization reaction. In the neutralization reaction, whatever acid base you have to write down the answer equation. Sorry, equation is hydrogen positive in a aqueous, hydroxide aqueous arrow with water as a liquid. Name the suitable indicator. So phenolphthalein is no more in your syllabus. The indicator replaced by the phenolphthalein is phenolphthalein or the methyl orange. You can write any one of these. So I'm going to write the methyl orange here. Name the experiment technique used in the experiment method 2, which I have already told you. The experiment technique is what? Titration. Okay. Now, here's some point for the salt preparation as a revision point here. For the salt preparation, you have to do there are the two types of salt. One is a soluble. One type of salt is what? Soluble salt, and the other one is insoluble. For the insoluble, you will take the aqueous solutions, of what? Sodium and the nitrate. Okay, like the sodium sulfate and the barium nitrate, you will get the sodium barium sulfate here. Now for the soluble salt. For the soluble salt, if a salt is for sodium and potassium, so you will use the method is titration. And if the salts are other than the other than sodium and potassium, then you are going to use a one method is a metal plus with an acid. Second one is metal oxide plus with an acid. Third one is metal hydroxide, which in the solid form with an acid. And the fourth one is a metal carbonate plus with an acid. You will get the soluble salts. Now the next question. In this question we have to complete the dot and cross diagram. Remember, in the dot and cross diagram, one of the element must be in the crosses and the other element must be in the dot. Okay. Sometimes students make a mistake that they make the both of the dot and cross. Now Here they have already assigned that the sodium are with the cross and the chlorine is with the dot. So sometimes the student mistake done the mistake. They make the means they make their own choice. Means the chlorine they make the outer shell of a chlorine with the crosses, and for the sodium they make the outer shell with the dot, which is wrong here. Now the sodium is in the group number 1 and the chlorine is in the group number 7. This one is the easiest dot and cross diagram, and this diagram is given to you whenever the formation of a sodium ionic compound is explained to you. Na? Okay, so sodium is in the group number 1, so it will lose the 1 electron. Because of that, the sodium will gain the 1 positive charge. So the 1 positive charge here on the sodium. Chlorine is in the group number 7, so it will gain the 1 negative charge. So the 1 negative charge here on the chlorine. Some reminders. The group number give you the charges for the group number 1, group number 2, group number 3, group number 1, 1 positive, 2 positive, 3 positive, group number 5, group number 6, and the group number 7. Group number 5, 3 negative, 2 negative, and the 1 negative. Okay. Sodium outer shell with the crosses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now chlorine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and cross. Now molten and the aqueous sodium chloride are separately electrolyzed using an inert electrode. Inert electrode is what which do not react with the solution, means the electrolyte. Okay. The use of an inert electrode, where the inert electrode is used. The inert electrode is used in the extraction of metals, which I have already shown to you. The extraction of a metal, you will use word inert electrodes. And when we want to extract the metal, the electrolyte must be in the form of a molten form. Whenever we are doing the extraction of a metal, the electrolyte must be in the form of what? Molten state, not in a aqueous state. If the aqueous state is present, then we're not going to have the metal. Okay. Now, for the non-metal electrolyte, what non-metal electrode? Sorry, electrolyte. I said the electrolyte. The non-metal electrode that is used is a graphite here, and for the metal electrode in your course is platinum. Now, complete the table. They have provided us a table. Forms of sodium chloride. We have a form of sodium chloride is a molten state here. So when you have a molten state, the only ions that are present in the sodium is sodium and the chloride ion. So the product will be sodium metal and a chlorine gas. In an aqueous form, for the aqueous form, the ions are present is a sodium ion, chloride ion, hydroxide, and the hydrogen. We have to check the condition of a dilute here. In the case of a dilute, the chlorine will not be discharged. hydroxide will give off the oxygen gas. And in the case of a sodium and the hydroxide, the sodium will not be discharged, the hydrogen will comes out from the solution. Okay, remember one point here again. In the solution state of a metals solutions for the electrolysis, okay, the salts electrolysis, if the salt contain the copper, silver and gold, if the salt contain what बच्चों, copper, silver and gold, then these ions will be discharged against the hydrogen. These ions will be discharged against the hydrogen. Hydrogen will not be discharged from the solution. Okay. Now, the next one is the concentrated. This one is what? Concentrated here. So, in the concentrated case, first of all, it's a solution, aqueous solution, sodium again, chloride, hydroxide, and the hydrogen. So, in the case of a concentrated, hydroxide will not be discharged, sodium will not discharge here, no copper, silver, and gold is present here. Hydrogen will comes out in the form of a hydrogen gas. Chlorine will comes out in the form of a chlorine gas. Now, name the product formed at the cathode. So at the cathode, the product for the first one is a name. You have to write down the name here, not the symbol. So write down the name. Sodium. The next one is the hydrogen. And the last one again the hydrogen. If they ask you for the anode, so in the anode, what type of substance will what type of product will form? So the product depend on the dilute and the concentrated in the solution, and in the molten only the chlorine, in the concentration chlorine, and in the dilute form oxygen gas will be produced. Okay, this one is complete here. Any question you want to ask? If this question is clear to all of you, please thumbs up. Then I move to the next one, and I want your reply. Yes, बच्चों. Is this clear to all of you or not?